present to everyone about Submariner and is going to say a few words about Submariner. So Nicole, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm going to keep this short because we have a very packed schedule. My information is at the end of this presentation if you want to get in touch with me with any questions, and then there will also be a discussion forum to keep this conversation going after the webinar. So many of you may know that Submariner Network is a leading nonprofit cooperation platform dedicated to transforming the way marine resources are used across the Baltic Sea region and beyond. Founded in 2013, we are a flagship partner for the EU mission to restore our ocean and waters by 2030. You'll see on this slide that we are a very expansive network. We have over 1,500 individual experts, over 200 institutional partners. We have 13 full members and many more associate members. And when it comes to our projects, we have over 30 projects currently that involve 9 different solution areas. I won't go into each of these, but I'm not sure if you can read all of them, but it goes into bivalves, algae, fisheries and aquaculture, ocean multi-use, maritime spatial planning, marine protected areas, ocean governance, business support, and education. So we really try to push those categories forward. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see what I mean about all the different projects. This is just a quick glimpse at how each of those are categorized and how they kind of spread over into the different categories and how we collaborate amongst the different projects. You can go to the next slide. So finally, before we get into the full presentation, I would definitely encourage everyone to check out our groups, our communities on Blue Biomatch. There really is something for everyone, going from the mussels community to algae to our Wind Big project, Women in the Blue Economy, and ocean multi-use. Definitely, glimpse at what the communities have to offer, and we'll have more information on that at the end of the presentation as well.
Awesome. So thank you so much. So now I'm going to hear a presentation from Sandra Castañer, who's actually working with MARE, and she's going to present us a study about skills for blue economy in Europe. So Sandra, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Konstantinos. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sandra, as just mentioned, and I'm a policy officer focusing on ocean literacy and blue skills at the European Commission's Directorate-General for Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. Very short name, but DG MARE for short. And today, I'll indeed walk you through the findings of our study on skills development in the blue economy that was launched a year ago and now is about to conclude. I oversaw the study on behalf of DG MARE, but the real work was carried out by a consortium of partners led by COGEA with the support of SETMAR, Poseidon, and ANT International. As a bit of background, the study covers all 12 blue economy sectors based on the classification used in the previous EU Blue Economy report. I say previous because the 2025 edition, which came out before the summer, has slightly updated this classification. But in this presentation, I'll try to zoom in on findings related to the blue biotechnology sector, which, as you know, is a bit more specific than the broader concept of blue bioeconomy. According to the EU Blue Economy report, before I start, just for you to know, in 2022, which is the latest data that is available, around 2,400 people were directly employed in the sector, blue biotechnology, which was 30% more than in 2021. And this upward trend is actually expected to continue, which is a good sign. And the annual average wage was estimated at 66,300 euros. Germany and France lead the sector in employment, accounting for 18% of jobs each, followed by Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands. That was all still in the first slide. Sorry, Konstantinos. And then we move to the second slide in this case, where I'm going to start talking about the study. So this study had 3 objectives. First, we wanted to assess current and future skills requirements across all sectors of the blue economy. In other words, what skills are really needed by the industry, both now and in the years to come. And to do this, we, of course, combine both quantitative and qualitative methods. Second, we aim to map the academic and training programs that already exist for the blue economy. So this would help us understand what skills people can already acquire if they want to start a blue career. We, of course, looked at past and ongoing EU-funded initiatives on blue skills. For instance, as you might know, since 2016, the MFAF has directly supported 26 blue career projects with a total budget of 18.5 million, including 8 projects that are currently running, such as the Blue Biotechpreneurs project, which is coordinated by Submariner, and they're doing a great job. And we also looked, of course, at other EU programs like Erasmus+, Horizon Europe, etc. And finally, based on all this, the study team is now finalizing a series of actionable policy recommendations to eventually try to improve training opportunities and help blue sectors attract new talent. So in a nutshell, the overall goal of the study was to gather valuable skills intelligence to help shape better blue economy policies. That said, though, before I dive in, just as a reminder, member states still remain primarily responsible for education and training, including skills development, vocational education, lifelong learning. So as much as we try to help from our side, this is always just supporting what member states do in their own territories. Now, if we move to the next slide, I'll go through this one fairly quickly, just for you to see how the study was organized, which was into 6 phases or work packages, as we call them, each with a specific focus, from methodology design and data collection to analysis, validation of findings, and finally, developing the recommendations. The work began, as I said, last autumn with a survey aimed at gathering input from stakeholders across all blue economy sectors. In parallel, we carried out a literature review, analyzing academic papers and other publications to identify trends, skill gaps, and challenges related to blue careers, education, and labor markets for all 12 blue economy sectors. And we also use text mining to cross-check whether the skills employers say they need are actually the ones they then list as requirements in online job postings. And for this, we applied natural language processing to job ads online, and it actually matched. Spoiler, I'll get to that. And then in April and May, results from these 3 streams of work were brought to the table and discussed directly with stakeholders through sector-specific focus groups. Next slide, please. And so before diving into the blue biotechnology sector, which I know is the one you're most interested about, here are the 5 main general results of the study. As just mentioned, there was broad stakeholder engagement across the blue economy. This included around 250 survey responses, 26 of which were from the blue biotechnology sector, 13 sector-specific focus groups, of which one, of course, was for the blue biotechnology sector, with over 80 experts in total, and ongoing exchanges with representatives from industry, education providers, public authorities, as well as with other relevant institutions and initiatives such as the World Resources Institute that recently published a very interesting blue paper also on skills. In case you're interested, have a look at that. We also mapped current and future skills needs across all blue economy sectors. In general, for all sectors, the survey revealed high demand for digital skills, not a surprise, for project management and competencies related to regulatory and environmental certification. And emerging sectors like marine energy, blue biotech, marine robotics will, it seems, increasingly rely on interdisciplinary profiles that are not yet well served from what we saw by existing training systems. Third, we also worked toward a consolidated definition of blue skills. I'll later point you to the results and deliverables and reports from the study, and there you can see which is the one that emerged after all the work from the study. And linked to the definition, we also developed what we call Blue Comp, which is a competency framework for the blue economy, which is inspired, I don't know if you know them, by other existing frameworks such as Green Comp or DEEC Comp. If we go to the next slide, I'll briefly present it. Yes, so this Blue Comp framework is a structure tool that defines the key competencies needed to work in the blue economy. It's designed in a way to help align training, education, and employment practices, ideally to give stakeholders a sort of shared language when it comes to blue skills and minimize in that way education industry gaps. So the framework, next slide, is organized into 4 main competency dimensions, each with its own subcategories. These competencies can be combined at different expertise levels from basic to expert to fit a specific blue job or blue role, a bit like assembling pieces of a puzzle. You will see when you have a look at the actual document that to make it more concrete, we included a set of practical examples and use cases to show how these would be applied in real world contexts. And later in the presentation, I'll also show you what we thought are the cross-cutting main most important competencies that you need to work in blue biotechnology sector. Just as an example now, for example, if it was a sustainable fisheries technician, let's say, we believe they should have digital communication at basic level, then maybe value chain thinking, knowledge of blue economy regulations, circular economy principles at more of a foundational level, and then of course sustainable resource management at operational level. But as I said, we'll have a look at it in a second. It's just that I want you to understand or to know that this is just the first exercise, of course, and competencies are defined at the general level, as I say, so they can apply across all blue economy sectors, but further customization development would be needed to tailor to each one specific sectors such as yours. And then next slide, finally, as I said, we're now finalizing a set of policy recommendations. Here are some of them in the next slide, Konstantinos, which again, these are applicable across all blue economy sectors, but I'll get to the ones that are really applied to blue biotechnology also in a minute. I don't know if you guys see the slide. I don't see it.
Yeah, one sec, because somebody took the control over the slide.
Oh.
To get it back.
They'll appear, but just as a couple examples. So as I mentioned, we would really like stakeholders to use the BlueCom and education providers to do the same. And of course, to localize it according to...
Presenting teams.
Sorry, should I go on?
Sorry.
I'll go on in the meantime. You'll just go slide the one on recommendations. It was my slide 7, I think. So yeah, right, perfect. As I was saying, we just, of course, encourage people to use the BlueCom framework to localize it in their, national, regional frameworks, and to, of course, translating it into EU languages if necessary, and to develop these sector-specific frameworks that I was saying, but also to promote dual education, so especially in emerging sectors such as yours. It would be important to launch new vocational training initiatives with actual employer co-design curricula, or another general recommendation would be to strengthen skills intelligence systems by creating sea-basin level observatories that could monitor local labor market needs and help support smart specialization strategies. I won't take more time on these because, as I said, they're like the general recommendations for all 12 blue economy sectors, and they're still working on those. But I will now like to zoom into the blue biotechnology sector. Yes, next slide already. So blue biotechnology, as you know, refers to the use of science and technology applied to living organisms for marine resources to develop knowledge, goods, or services, such as pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, feed ingredients, biomaterials. It is a highly specialized and knowledge-intensive sector where the ability to translate scientific discovery into industrial applications is actually key. The sector has strong growth potential, driven, of course, by the Earth's rich marine biodiversity, the rising demand for sustainable resources, the ongoing technological innovation, and its economic promise. However, despite benefiting from a strong research base in Europe, the sector still faces key challenges. And from what we found, this includes workforce readiness and skills mismatches, gaps in education and specialized training, such as marine bioinformatics, regulatory frameworks, business development, limited institutional coordination, and also a fragmented innovation ecosystem. And so our study survey results confirm these trends among the 26, even if it's a small sample, among the 26 respondents working in the sector. 83% hold a master's degree or a PhD. So this highlighted the highly educated for workforce. But still, many reported difficulties in adapting their academic knowledge to market-driven roles and a lack of potential interdisciplinary training opportunities. And so the study identified the following priority skills for the blue biotechnology sector that I will now walk you through. First, theoretical and applied knowledge in marine biotechnology, which remains consistently important over time. Second, digital skills, especially in managing large genomic data sets and using AI tools for marine biodiscovery. Survey data shows that the importance of digital communication and general digital skills will increase up to 23% from the short to the long term in the blue biotechnology sector. Then third, knowledge of regulatory and ethical frameworks, particularly around the Nagoya Protocol, EU access and benefit sharing obligations, and intellectual property management. Fourth, very important, entrepreneurial and innovation competencies, including business modeling, startup development, and market readiness. And finally, sustainability and ecosystem-based management, of course, to ensure that blue biotechnology aligns with biodiversity protection, traceability, and benefit sharing principles. Now, in the next slide, we'll see that if we apply the BlueCom, the competency framework, this would be the combination of cross-sectoral competencies that are essential for the sector. As you can see, under the first dimension, understanding the blue economy, we have ocean literacy in general, knowing how important the ocean is for ourselves and vice versa, and how we affect it and how it affects us. We also have blue economy regulations, as mentioned, digital skills, again, as I mentioned as well, both proficiency but also communication, sustainability, resilience. I'm not going to go through them all because you can see them, but I really encourage you to go and have a look at the competency framework and see how that applies to your specific roles as well. Now, as regards career barriers and gaps, the study consistently highlighted a disconnect between academic programs and industry needs. Many university curricula in marine biology or biotechnology do not include modules on intellectual property, ethics, or regulatory affairs, which, as we saw, are increasingly important, are not updated quickly enough to keep pace with scientific and technological advances, and lack access to applied research environments or industrial internships. Additionally, focus groups, the focus group also pointed out gender disparities and regional inequalities in both training and job opportunities. So the sector sort of still lacks mentorship structures and inclusive career pathways. And geographic gaps also persist. Southern and Eastern European regions face challenges including weak infrastructure, limited access to networks, and language barriers. To address all these challenges, in the next slide, as I said, the lack of coordination between providers, SMEs, and policymakers that causes these skills mismatches. To address the limited SME capacity to invest in training or the slow pace of curricular reforms, the participants suggested some targeted strategies. These include promoting modular and flexible learning options like MOOCs and micro-credentials. Also developing joint interdisciplinary degrees, combining marine science and business skills, and leveraging EU programs like Horizon Europe, Erasmus+, Interreg, to support upskilling and reskilling through projects that can be scaled up and taken further. This would, of course, help train the next generation of workers in blue biotechnology, including new roles that blend scientific, technical, and social skills. And here are some of the key new profiles that were identified across the sources during the study. Marine bio-entrepreneurs who commercialize marine innovations, innovation brokers who connect science, business policy, regulatory and IP advisors who ensure compliance with biodiversity, access, and the benefit sharing regulations we mentioned earlier, marine bioresource managers who oversee ethical and sustainable sourcing, and science communicators and ethical auditors who translate science for public dialogue and ensure alignment with environmental values. These roles, as you can see, highlight a growing trend, a growing demand for hybrid skill sets and soft skills like communication, teamwork, and systemic thinking. I think I'm going to stop here. I'm just going to leave you with a question for you to reflect. What else do you think could be done to strengthen skills in blue biotechnology? And maybe while you think about that, it would be useful to explore all the study results. We did lots of things, and I know it's a lot of content, but you can have a look and pick and choose as it best suits you. Results from the survey, the literature review, text mining, and focus groups are already available on the Maritime Forum webpage dedicated to the study. I will share the link here, and then Konstantinos also will share it via email. And the remaining materials, which are the Blue Comp framework, the final recommendation, and actual sectoral fact sheets explaining what I just explained in a 4-pager will be uploaded in the next week. And so available for all of you to have a read and enjoy and hope learn things and hopefully be useful to all of you. Voila.
Thank you so much for this very, very insightful presentation. I hope we're also going to play a role here by actually strengthening the skills in blue bioeconomy by doing this webinar. And the study looks also very interesting for so many projects of Submariner. So really thank you for this very insightful presentation. And now I would like to give the floor to Celia Murcia, the founder of actually Blue Jobs, who is going to really take now the role from blue skills and put in the industry. And she's going to present some very important companies that are here with us and prepare for the next session of the webinar. So Celia, you can go on and start the session.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So my name is Celia Murcia. I'm the founder of Blue Jobs. I will present it in the presentation later. I just wanted to highlight that Sandra mentioned already a few challenges in the industry, like the lack of collaboration between academia and the actual employers, the lack of access to job vacancies, among others. So we organized this section of the webinar, the industry showcase, to basically hear from the employers, whether they are private companies or research institutions working in the blue bioeconomy. So we brought 3 organizations that they are going to present basically what they do and what they look for, what candidates, what type of profiles, what type of skills are in the highest demand. And they are going to present also some real job opportunities. I'm sure that a few of the participants here today are looking for a job in the blue biotechnology or thinking changing the sector. So this session will be quite interesting to learn from actual employers. So we are going to start with Maria Inés. She is the business innovator and marketing coordinator of S2 Aqua. Basically, this is a sustainable and smart aquaculture collaborative laboratory. It's a long, it's a long name. It's a private non-profit Portuguese institution founded in 2021. It's based in Portugal, but she's going to tell us a bit more about the organization and also the recruitment process they follow. Please, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the introduction. Can I take the control of the presentation? Yeah.
No, I think it's better now because I still don't know how to do that properly, and then probably
No problem.
Switch again. Sorry. Maria, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing you. So we are a collaborative laboratory, and what we do is that we bridge research and industry in order to, in our case, help the aquaculture sector to become smarter and more sustainable. And we do this by connecting aquaculture research with universities, research institutions, and also aquaculture companies in order to help them improve and become more smart and innovate in the sector to help them grow in the long term. Next. So we are located in Portugal, in the southeast part, in a city called Olhão, and in our structure we have several associates that are scattered all over the country, and we also have one of our associates that is in one of the Portuguese islands called Madeira. Next. Our associates go from institutional members such as state laboratories, higher educational institutions, and also research centers. But we also have some other associates, 11, that are companies that work in fish production. Next. Bivalve production and fish nutrition. Next. Algae production, ports and fishery management, and also regional development. Next. So we work with them and for them in order to improve the aquaculture sector. And when we started the S2 Aquaco Lab, it was with a proposal that was submitted in September of 2020, but we were only able to start creating new jobs in December of 2021. However, so far we were able to keep increasing our team, and now we have over 30 new job positions that were created thanks to our company. Next. We work in several our work and our team is divided into several areas. We work in aquaculture production, optimization, reproduction, biochemical analysis, in vitro cell systems. We also have a team working in personal capacitation, also project management and communication. Next. And thanks to the work that we develop in each of these areas, we are able to create innovation that allow us to develop products and services that can be used for the aquaculture industries to improve their daily work and help them with their jobs. Next. We do this thanks to a team that is highly multidisciplinary. We have administratives that are people that bridge science with other areas such as project management, communication, human resources, financials, and others. And we also have the researchers that are the core. Our core that develop the innovation that we need to create new services and products for the industry. And working with them, we have several technicians in different areas, such as aquaculture, chemistry, veterinary, and others, that allow us to offer services that are highly specialized and precise in order to offer a product that is good for the sector. Next. When we are looking for human resources profiles, we look for highly specialized professionals that can always work in a multidisciplinary environment. We do not look only for researchers and technicians to fill the gaps that we have in our different areas of work. We also look for transversal profiles and multidisciplinary profiles that can be able to connect their different backgrounds, such as communication or marketing, with science. So these transversal profiles are very important because we see that people need to want to get to know science in order to work in science. Next. How can we help and how can we find future talent? In our website, you can find all the information that you need regarding our service and projects. And also we have a tab that have our jobs and thesis and internships opportunities that are open, that all of you are invited to see and take a look at of what we are doing and the opportunities that we have ongoing. Next. In working with universities and other companies, we are able to open opportunities for the development of master and doctoral thesis, and also internships that can be or not spontaneous. If you go to the thesis internship tab, you can find that we are always looking for people in diverse areas such as aquaculture and molecular biology. And you can contact us if you have interest in knowing if you have a space or the time to have you working with us. You can pass. However, in there you can also find ongoing opportunities that we have for you to work with us for these manners. And if you click in one of these tabs and open, next, please. You can find all the information if you are interested in developing your thesis in this topic or even have an internship in this. And we have a description of what you will be doing and with who. So you are free to take a look and see. Next. We also offer various programs of training, both in person and also online via our S2 Aquacolab Moodle. That are used to improve to tackle some knowledge gaps that we see in aquaculture operators, but also in the younger students. Next. In our website, you can also find our job openings that sometimes are contracts, or other times are paid fellowships. Right now, we have one job open that is for an histology laboratory technician. When you open this tab, next, you can find all the responsibilities that come with this work, and they are not only related with the normal daily laboratory work of a histology technician. We also look for someone that that can propose solutions for new problems and like to communicate their data. Because we are looking for someone that can work in a multidisciplinary environment and wants to share and interact with colleagues inside and outside our company. Next. And the profile that we are normally looking for this type of positions are bachelor or master people with bachelor or master degrees. Normally, in this case, it's in the area of biology or pathology. With 5 years of professional experience, and most importantly, we look for someone that can work in a team, that have problem-solving skills, and are proactive in order to enter our teams. Next. So if you have any question that we have, you can talk directly to me or with one of our colleagues regarding specific opportunities. We can always go to our website and see what we have open. And if you want to keep up with us and know what we are doing, you can follow us in Instagram or LinkedIn, because we publish our job opportunities, our projects, and everything that is going on with us. So if you want to keep up, it's a good way to do it and to interact with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mariano. This is very clear presentation and also a job opportunity that is available now. So thank you so much for your presentation. I don't see any question on the chat. Please feel free to just write the questions. Yeah, okay, I see one. If Maria, in the future there will be remote roles, or mainly all the jobs are in person there in Portugal.
Right now, all the jobs that we have are mainly in person, yes, because we are still a small team that really interacts and works together. However, as we are trying to go more international. That's still an unmet field, but yes, probably in the future it will be possible. And depending on the role, if you are interested, you can contact us and we can see if there is an opportunity for a remote position. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I got another question. You saw that there are a few associates, no, in the collab. Would you post all the jobs opportunities in your website, or the participants that are looking for a job need to check in the, for example, RDT website, in the University of Algarve website, or you gather all the job opportunities from your associates?
No, we only have the job opportunities from our own lab here in Nestle Aqua Lab, but it would be interesting to connect all of them, and we are trying to start a new newsletter where we are going to have all of this information with the authorization of all the associates. So in future, if you keep up with us, probably we are going to create this somewhere where you can find all of this information together. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Maria. Okay, so I think we move now to the next speaker, next organization, which is Aqua Biotech. Aqua Biotech is an international consulting and engineering and research and development company in Malta, but they work internationally. Today, George Mantas, the business development director, is here with us, and he's going to present the jobs and skills opportunities in the sector from their perspective. Thank you so much, George.
Good afternoon, everyone. Celia, thank you for the introduction. Can you hear me well?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And Konstantinos, you will manage the slides, right? Thanks. Yeah, I represent Aqua Biotech Group. Greetings from Malta. We are a private company. I think the slide is still, I cannot see the slides of Aqua Biotech. Konstantinos.
Yeah, I can see the next one. Put the next one.
I mean, which slide? I mean, I have the second one already.
We cannot see. We can see only the previous.
Yeah, move to the next one, please. This one.
Yeah, can you see it now?
I can see the description of the company, yes, and the figures.
Okay. And you, George, can you see the description?
Not really. So I'm just gonna. Yeah, no, I cannot see. But looking at, I cannot see the slide. So in the first slide, a summary of Aqua Biotech. We are a SME. We are 27 years old this year. We work globally, and basically what we do, we service the aquaculture, the global aquaculture industry and governments and non-governmental organizations in 3 different ways. We provide consulting, we provide knowledge, we provide technical assistance, we provide engineering and technology services, and access to a research platform in Malta. We have a state-of-the-art research center in Malta where we support startups or international companies, big international companies develop their products. We are a very international team. We work globally. We've experience in approximately 60 countries now. Every year we turn around about 60 to 70 projects all over the world, from Norway to Mozambique and from Ecuador to Singapore and Southeast Asia. So very international portfolio. We cover all the spectrum of aquaculture, let's say, different environments. 99% of our revenue is international, 50 in Europe, and the rest all over the world. So next slide. We also operate a state-of-the-art research and innovation center in Malta. We carry out a lot of research for other companies, so we're a contract research organization as well. a lot of research and innovation happening there for different European companies. And we also participate in a number of innovation projects that operate, that are within frameworks of European frameworks, such as DGRTD, Horizon, and so on. If we look at today, the next slide, please. Today's the employees profile at Aqua Biotech, you'll see that we have a strong background in aquaculture. Of course, that's our main expertise. So more than 50% of people employed at Aqua Biotech are with an aquaculture background, and another approximately 20+% with other marine or environmental sciences. So about 75%, 3/4 of the company have that scientific background. And about 25% of the rest of the company has engineering background, or accounting, or business, or QA, QC, quality assurance, quality control, or financial, and so on. When we look at the main pool of experts that we have, this aquaculture experts, approximately 60% has an MSc, and about 15%, 10-15% PhD, and the rest bachelor's degree. If you look at the vacancies, we always post vacancies on our website, on LinkedIn, but also in platforms that we participate and network. So such as the European Aquaculture Society and so on. So we employ people with general skills, let's say general aquaculture background, but also sometimes, depending on projects, specific background and experience. Currently, we have vacancies for aquaculture consultants to work in different projects that we have, from Kenya to Maldives and so on. So we also have the positions for our research center, for aquaculture technicians that want to have hands-on experience in a lab, and so on, but also the other across the other departments. So you can get access to that information through our website, LinkedIn as well, very up to date. Next slide. When we look at we also look at the framework that we operate. The framework that we operate. So when we see at Malta's framework educational system as well, we don't have a dedicated, the University of Malta doesn't have a dedicated, let's say, bachelor's or an aquaculture. You need to specialize, masters, you need to have some marine biology background. We have a vocational institute that also provides some courses. So effectively, when we look at the aquaculture sector, we face a significant challenge due to the absence of a dedicated talent pool, not only, let's say, skills gap. So the current curricula as well is outdated, so it doesn't necessarily reflect the needs of today's industry, and it doesn't offer so much practical training, which is often required in different positions. So as such, I would say, at least in our team, more than 90% of our experts come out of Malta, about 50% out of EU, actually, of our employees. And it's also reflective of our, let's say, business outreach as well, because we work all over the world, so we need to have also that regional expertise, language capabilities, understanding of different environments, and so on. Next slide. If we look at the current skills gaps in aquaculture, from our own perspective, because as I said, we are not a production, let's say, company, we are more of a service company, so not sure I can speak for the whole aquaculture industry. So from our point of view, the aquaculture industry faces significant skill gaps amongst employees and new graduates. The key deficiencies for existing workers includes biological and environmental management, diagnostic, fish veterinary, pathology, and knowledge for reproduction of new species, as well as more skills like understanding of research, project management, or compliance. For the new graduates, the main gap is there, the practical, the internship, the field experience. And so for us, addressing those skills shortages is crucial for the growth of the industry in Europe. Next slide. When we look at the future of aquaculture, we to design, let's say, to encourage also people to work in aquaculture, but also to ensure that they are equipped with the right skills and competences. I think we need to understand how aquaculture will look like, how it starts to look like, and how it's going to look like in the next 20 years. Because in some ways, the future of aquaculture is set to evolve towards land-based and offshore systems characterized by high precision, smart technologies, and circular practices that promote climate resilience. The key trends include the digital transformation through big data, machine learning, and AI, alongside with the adoption of advanced technologies such as automation, robotization, and IoT. Emphasis will also be placed on animal welfare and optimizing fish health and research management. And additionally, the industry will need to meet strong traceability and high biosecurity requirements while committing to the highest standards for environmental sustainability. So in that perspective, if you look at adding more skills towards and engaging in acquiring more skills, having, let's say, an aquaculture background or a marine biology background, and you want to add certain skills. So I think it's important in some ways, instead of focusing more into the biological aspects, look also at all the other angles that the industry is taking before choosing what your specialization will be. And these are what we've seen is that when experts that combine these skills, those biological, that understanding of the industry, alongside with skills that are, let's say, related to digital transformation or robotics or automation and so on, these people are in high demand. Next slide. So yeah, in the future of skills, skill needs in aquaculture, important technology skills, hardware. We need to have people that understand the new technologies and know to operate, maintain, and so on. Notable skill gap existing that hinder industry growth in some ways and sustainability. Key areas include the lack of expertise in advanced technologies such as data analytics and also sustainable practices. Additionally, many professionals lack knowledge of biosecurity measures and environmental management. To address these gaps, the industry needs targeted training programs, increased collaboration between educational institutes and aquaculture business, and the focus on integrating innovative practices to ensure future resilience and productivity of the aquaculture systems. And here I've presented 3 photos just to understand, so that we, in some ways, will, as we look at the global industry, we shouldn't forget that we are working on a global business. We shouldn't think in some ways, on an EU bubble kind of approach. On the top, you see the project Water Moon. It's an innovative project where it's one of the biggest trends at the moment, and the Fish Globe as well. I don't want to advertise the company, but there are 2 of the companies that are driving innovation in what we call closed containment systems, where in open sea we have more closed containment environments, where digitization, automation, and so on play very important role. These are 2 Norwegian-based companies. And on the other side, you see one of our visits at the China Agricultural University, where you see on the background a fully automated, 0 people, let's say, farm in China, operated by the National Innovation Center for Digital Fishery. So in some way that gives you a snapshot of how aquaculture might look like in the next years. So with that in mind, I would encourage you to, if you like, also rethink of what kind of skill sets you might require in the future. And last slide, again, I'm available. You can reach out to me or my colleagues. On the website, there are guidelines for applying for the positions. And thank you very much. Happy to
Thank you
answer
so
any
much,
questions.
George. Thank you for the presentation. It was actually very interesting to see the skills that your organization and also the industry in general are missing, but also this analysis of the future skills. So thank you so much. There are a couple of questions on the chat. Just let me start with one that you were mentioned, that the international dimension of your organization, European project that you work. I just wanted to ask if there is, apart from the Malta offices, do you have labs or offices in other countries? And this is a question related to someone that asked in the chat, that is, all these roles are open only to European citizens.
So I think in every vacancy that we post, we have we name the location. So sometimes we have project-based locations. So we have people in Mozambique. We have also a subsidiary in the UAE. So we had people in Oman. We will be employing people in other projects we operate. But I would say primarily, we post vacancies for our Malta headquarters. The labs, all the lab positions are based in Malta, yes. There are discussions in the future to expand our lab capabilities in Southeast Asia, but we are not there yet.
Okay, thank you. There are also another question, whether you conduct some training programs or shorter certificated courses.
Yeah, actually, we are engaged in several training, capacity building assignments, both on contract basis. So where we operate in, for example, in East Africa or West Africa or Southeast Asia, in Europe. So we post those trainings. So they are, let's say, project-specific trainings. But also there are collaborations where we have with universities and so on. So everything can be found online. We post. I mean, every year we would carry out at least 20 plus different training activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Looking at the time, I think I'm going to present the next speaker, but please feel free to keep asking questions on the chat, and Maria, George, and the speakers can address them. So our next speaker is Bernardo Carvalho. He comes from Oceano Fresco. He's the CEO and founder. Oceano Fresco is a Portuguese aquaculture and biotechnology company founded in 2015 in Nazareth, and it specializes in science-driven and regenerative farming of native European clams. But Bernardo will tell us a bit more about the organization and also the job opportunities in their organization. Please, Bernardo, the floor is yours.
Very well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, indeed, we are a regenerative aquaculture company focusing on bivalves, on native European clam and oyster species. And I'm going to show you what we do, give you a glimpse on what we do, and then discuss a bit what type of roles and skills do we have. So yes, as the slide has already been moved forward, the bivalves are nature's solution to feed the world. So that's our underlying thesis. We should eat more animals from the bottom of the food chain, and bivalves are a great overlooked species, if you want to make it a group species, because they have a lot of environmental benefits. They lock away carbon in their shells, they clean the water because they're filter feeders, and they boost their biodiversity if done correctly, etc. So they can feed the world and basically regenerate nature. Next slide, please. And the good news is, apart from being good for the environment, they're also an underserved growing market. So it's good for environment, good for business. It's already a very big market, 85 billion, consumer prices growing in the next years, maybe to 100. And there are forces pushing the market growth. One is the rising appetite for low impact protein from consumers. People want to eat well, and they want to eat in a way that protects the environment. And there's also regulatory pressure on ESG and other kind of guidelines. So that's all in favor, that's all tailwind for bivalves. Next slide. In order to address this opportunity, we built a series of assets that allows us to produce bivalves at scale in a regenerative way. So I'm going to give you some quick glimpse into what we have, and then this is the first one. So it's the called Biomarine Center in Nazaré. We have several locations. Nazaré is one, and this includes a hatchery, bivalve hatchery, some labs and offices, which on the next slide, which is the video, you can see some images. So that's the Biomarine Center next to the coast, obviously. So we perform R&D, so we do selective breeding, improving the species performance, and we have the whole seed cycle, rootstock, larvae, and seed. Those are baby clams. You'll see them. There they are. And then the food, microalgae, phytoplankton, which we also produce in-house. And so that's the beginning of the chain. We have several steps, and goes to a nursery, goes to an on-growing site, and then goes to an open sea farm. Next slide, please. It goes to an open sea farm on the south of Portugal, off a few miles off the coast. It's on the west tip of Europe, where we have 100 hectares. So that's 100 football fields for comparison, where we have long lines, and we grow clams and oysters, so all native European species. That's not an easy environment because the open sea is unforgiving, but we are conducting a lot of R&D to be able to grow them at scale and at low cost in this open sea, very, very pristine, very, very clean environments. Yep, the video would help. Thank you. So you have an idea. Farm, we have 2 boats farming. This is our small boat. Every day our teams go to the sea. This is to depict the biodiversity which is now enhanced by the farm, which became a non-fishing area. We have several farming methods. This is one, the lantern nets, but we have other systems. And then they're grown in these systems and others that we have. This is the Cocugata, European clam species. So next slide, please. For our customers, so that's the distributors, the intermediaries that basically buy the clam bivalve from us and sell them to the consumer. Next click, please. Yeah, we tell them that we are reliable. So our value proposition is we can be a reliable partner, which is not all obvious in bivalves. It is in many other sectors, many other food types, but not in bivalves. So what our promise is, we deliver high product quality all year round in a reliable way. We are not yet there on all of these because we haven't managed to produce all year round. It's at the scale that we want, so we are going towards this goal, but it is our ambition for our customers. And then next slide. For our consumers, we offer them what we call the Magic Trilogy, a product which is sustainable, as I mentioned before, eat healthy, high protein, low fat, rich in vitamins, famous omega-3, a lot of minerals, especially iron, organic certified in our case, and it's also tasty. So sustainable, healthy, and tasty. And checking these 3 boxes is very difficult. So if you think about food types, it's not easy to check these 3 conditions, and bivalves do. So that's what we offer to our consumers, and we communicate in very different ways. And yes, why we are different. 5 reasons. We are vertically integrated. So from spawning to adults, post-harvest packaging, we are scalable. And then we create value via 3 levers: science, portfolio expansion, and sustainability and branding. And we do this with a team, which is the topic of this conversation today, with a growth mindset and a very complementary set of skills. So we are about 50 people, not including the advisory board and the board of directors, 50 people working in the company. And we have people with the PhD in genetics, masters in marine biology, engineering, master mariners, crane operators, data specialists, divers, commercial, of course, finance, and others. It's one of the challenges of a company or a business like this, that one needs to have a very heterogeneous set of skills, which are not easy to find and bring into the same organization, and then also to manage. Since we do hatchery, nursery, on-growing, grow-out, and then post-harvest and packaging, and hence we hire internationally, as you can see and can imagine from looking at the names in this slide. So we have people from 8, 9 different countries, which is a lot for a small company like ours. And we do this through innovation and external collaboration in these 4 mega topics with many organizations, that you can see in the slide, and we do it over multi-year projects. And then next slide, to finalize, this is what we like our consumers to feel. Kevin felt well when he had clams, could also have been oysters. He felt well, there was a sense of pleasure. We would like him to also to know, our consumers to know when they eat bivalves, that it's not only tasty, but it's also good for the environment and for their own health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernardo. It was really nice to see the videos and the activities, your daily activities, at your organization. Maybe you want to take a couple of minutes to present a bit more about the job vacancies, if you have one at the moment, or what type of candidates you usually recruit in your organization, if it's more aquaculture, or if it's more also the type of profiles. There was one question on the chat about what about financial profiles, if you hire also the type of candidates.
Yeah, sure. We have we have 50 people, as I mentioned. About 15 of them have marine biology background, so master's, bachelor, PhD, and then we have people with technical skills like master mariner, crane operator, diver, etc. And that's the majority of our workforce, about 40 people. Then about 10, they have skills in finance, commercial, IT, and administration. At the moment, we have one job opening for a production technician. It's in our LinkedIn page, and we normally publish them in our LinkedIn page. But of course, if we have no job opening, it's also possible to send us an email. In our website, we have an email called info@oceanofresco.pt, and you feel free to send an email to this address.
Okay, Perfect. Thank you so much. So for those who are interested in this production technician positions, feel free to go to Oceano Fresco LinkedIn page. And yeah, if you have any other further questions for the speakers, please post it on the chat so they will address it when they have the chance. Thank you so much to the three of the speakers. Now we are going to move to the next session. So basically, we have heard about what the employers needs in terms of skills, job opportunities. Now we are going to move to the career path. So basically, how to get to these positions. No, we have prepared a self-assessment tool, basically to identify how ready you are to get this job or the skills that are needed in the future. But before we go through this tool, just let me introduce ourselves. Blue Jobs, next, please. So basically, we are a consultancy company focused on blue economy and blue economy recruitment. Next. We have more than 5,000 experts registered in our website, but our community is nearly 50,000 professionals, from oceanographers, marine biologists, marine consultants, so all type of professionals working in the sea or nearby the sea. We have experts from more than 100 countries, and we have been posting a lot of jobs positions during the last years. Next, please. We work on different sectors. Next, but basically for the purpose of this this webinar, we next, Constantino. Sorry, no. So, yeah, basically marine biotechnology is one of them. So for those who are looking for a job, basically we offer this database of job positions. We offer a lot of different tools of career guidance and networking opportunities. We have different webinars as, yeah, this next one. We have webinars, monthly webinars, like this one that we are organizing in collaboration with Submarine Network. And the next one will be in the aquaculture sector. So please stay tuned if you are interested in this sector. We also have our blog and our LinkedIn that you can find next, that you can find a lot of information and tools and relevant data and events that if you are in this industry, you will be interested in. Next, please. But basically in biotechnology, move to the next one, please. We are going to go fast, Konstantinos, in this one because already Sandra from DG MARE already mentioned this figure. So basically what I just want to bring your attention to these figures, like this market is growing in Europe, but globally as well. There are some countries pioneering in this, Germany, France, but also Italy, Spain, and there are a lot of job opportunities as well. Next. We have seen today a few examples of organizations working in aquaculture, mainly aquaculture, fisheries, but there are more markets within the marine biotechnology. No, so basically you have bioengineering, water treatment services, biofuels, drug discovery. So there are more industries within this sector that you may be interested in working. No, next one, please. Next one. So next one. Career opportunities, as I say, is growing every year, and there are different paths. Next one, please.
Sorry, 1 second. The slide is loading.
Okay. It was too fast, no? Okay, just mentioning that there are mainly two career paths that you can follow. You can follow more, but there are two main ones. That this one is research, and another is going through the private industry. This is when you finish your, the previous one, please. When you finish your studies, you can choose if you want to go to the pathway on research on marine biotechnology, there are some pros and cons. Basically, here, if you go through research, you will have a direct contribution to the scientific progress, innovation. You will have more freedom to choose your projects, and there will be continuous learning opportunities. Some cons is like usually salaries are lower than in the private industry, and sometimes there is a work-life imbalance, but this also happens in private industry. What is also important here in research and academia is that you need external funds to support your projects. And the second pathway that you can choose is more private industry. Is more financial rewarding. You work with problem-solving, solution-oriented environment, so it's quite rewarding, I would say. It's basically applying research and science, and you have a direct contribution to innovation. Some cons is like the lack of freedom in choosing the project of your preference, and also the need to carry out other tasks outside your main work. For example, funding, administrative, project management. These are the skills also that some of the speakers mentioned. They are more cross-sectoral skills, transversal, but they are also needed. Next one, please. So this is type of jobs that you can find in the industry. We have seen a few related to aquaculture, but you can find also jobs as microbiologist or food technologies, policy developer as well. We have seen here the presentation from DG MARE. So this is another pathway that you can take, more policy side or more environmental impact, for example, side. So I think now it's time to move to the assessment tool. Basically, we want you to see how ready you are for the future skills, the current and future skills that the employers are already asking in this sector. Yeah, we have picked key skills that we have seen in blue jobs that they are most demanding, but also we have taken from a few studies. One is from the DG MARE study, but also from the World Economic Forum that the future of jobs in 2025. So I invite you to go through this QR. This is a Slido. We are going to go to some questions. Let's try to do it very interactive, this session. I don't know if you can move to the next one so we can see.
I'm going to move to the Slido, so it's like the time for everybody to scan the QR code, because then the QR code is not going to be visible for long. So if you want to do the self-assessment, it's like time to scan the QR code.
Okay, but in any case, I think in a Slido, there is also the code. They can still see the code to enter in a Slido. Okay. Okay, there is no active pool. Okay, so in a minute, Konstantinos will. Okay. Maybe in presented mode. Okay, perfect. So, okay, thank you so much. So we are going to go through the first to the technical and sector-specific skills. So which one do you consider most important in the future of marine biotechnology? Consider technical and sector-specific skills. Okay, there are a few already. Okay, entrepreneurship, digital skills. These one are more cross-cutting skills. Okay, we will see this in a minute. Okay. Microalgae, climate change, field work, modeling. Okay. Multidisciplinary skills. Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay, so I think there are a few of these ones that we are going to see. But let's go through the top 10 technical and sector skills that we have identified based on these studies and based on our platform. Obviously, you don't need to have all of these 10 skills. No, this is something that you will work depending on the sectors that you want to focus. No, but we want to you to reply if you feel confident, very confident, or not confident at all with these skills that we are going to present. So theoretical knowledge. Basically, this reflects the strong research and scientific foundation, no, in the sector. So it's essential for designing laboratory experiments or basically interpreting results in your studies. No, it's okay. So most of you feel confident. Okay, we can move to the next one: regulatory compliance. So how confident do you feel with this knowledge? Basically, this is important for biosafety, ethics, also to know about the European international standards. So, for example, if you want to obtain approvals for marine genetic resources use or launching a new biotech product, you need to compliance with the European law. Okay, so there is most of you that are not confident at all. So this is like a red flag that you can put in your to-do list, how to improve your knowledge on this skill, no? Because as we have seen, this is quite important. Okay, next one, we can move to next one, bioinformatics. So this is important for data analysis, genomics. Yeah, basically, most of you feel confident, but just half of you. Okay, so not confident at all. Okay, so this is another skill that obviously can be trained with different training programs. Okay, let's move to the next one. Genomics and omics. This one also was mentioned by Maria. It was one of the skills that they requested at S2 Aqualab. Basically supports molecular level exploration of marine biodiversity and is used to discover different bioactive compounds. So it's also very important. Most of you do not feel confident with this skill. Okay, so if you want to focus on this type of industry, this is something that you will need to improve. Okay, another one, downstream processing. This is key to converting basically raw material into usable products. For example, if you want to use algae extracts to create some cosmetics, for example, you will need this skill. Okay, some of you do not feel comfortable with this skill. You don't have too much experience on this, which is okay. I mean, this is, as I said, you don't need to be confident in all of them, of course, no? But just for you to know that these are the most demanding skills. Okay, next one. Analytical chemistry, marine compound isolation. This one is important for example, isolating anti-cancer agents from some marine organism. Okay. Okay, I think we can move to a couple of Konstantinos, one to the tech transfer. So we move to, I think, yeah, that one, perfect. Okay, because the other were very similar to, so tech transfer and scale up techniques. This changed a bit, but it's basically to bring in the lab discoveries to the industrial production. So this is very important. For example, if you want to adapt a lab bioreactor for commercial production, no, of algae, for example. Okay, and most of you have experience on this. This is very good. We can move to the next one, which is good laboratory practice and quality assurance. There was a question also on the chat about quality assurance. So basically, this is important, especially for biotech SMEs. basically enter in regulated markets like pharma or food, that they need to compliance, no? And most of you have experience on this. Okay, this is very good. This one was the skills more related to the sector, but as you have heard today, there are other type of skills that is still required for the positions, and we are going to move to the digital skills in marine biotechnology. So which digital skills do you think are more important right now for the marine biotechnology? You can just write free test. So which type of digital skills do you consider most important in the future of marine biotechnology? Modeling, indeed. Modeling, programming, coding, artificial intelligence, data analysis, bioinformatics, automation. Okay, indeed. Indeed, these are the key ones. You are completely right. I think we can move to the next one. Is data management. So basically, this supports traceability, data-driven decision-making. No? So this is how basically you can manage your data. And most of you feel confident on this. Nice. Next one is about information and data literacy. Basically, this means like the critical evaluation and effective use of the scientific information. So how confident, how comfortable are you working on data, no? And extracting results and conclusions from that? Okay, you must feel comfortable. Okay, this one is another one. It's a bit different, but it's still very important for all the industries, but especially if you are working with sensitive data, intellectual property. So move to the next one, please, which is cybersecurity. Okay, so cybersecurity. Okay, so yeah, this is something most common in this sector, like people is not trained in cybersecurity, but especially for SMEs is very important. So take it as a red flag in your to-do list to also have a look at these skills, because it's more demanding. Okay, the next one, it was already mentioned from some participants, is artificial intelligence and machine learning. So this one basically is important because it accelerates the discovery of data interpretation, identifying patterns in large database. So this makes our life easier in general. Okay, so I guess most of you use artificial intelligence for your daily activities, but maybe not for bioanalysis. So this is something that you can look at as well. Okay, looking at the time, let's move to the green skills. So next one, it will be the green skills, the cloud question on green skills. Okay, so we have seen the sector related, the digital. Now we move to the green skills. So which one do you consider that they are most important in the marine biotechnology sector? Biodegradation, genetics. This one could be more related, more sector specific, no? But life cycle analysis, indeed, carbon capture, sustainable practices. Indeed. Okay, so let's have a look at the skills more demanded right now. The first one is environmental sustainability knowledge. I guess most of you feel comfortable and you have the knowledge on the environmental part, because most of us come from same backgrounds. Okay, next one is about circular economy principles, basically to reduce waste reduction and the value recovery from marine materials, no? So this is also very important. You feel more confident on this, okay? Next one is about life cycle assessment. Another participant mentioned this. Okay, not okay. We have half. This one is very important because it's also if you want to produce basically evaluates environmental impact of a marine bioproduct if you are generating one, no? So from extraction to disposal. So this is also something that the companies and organizations require. Okay, and the last one on the green side, eco-design and sustainable product development. So basically, creative design will be an example of design. Okay, this is another skill that could also improve. Okay, and let's just move for the last minutes to first backing skills, or what we call also soft skills. There were mentioned also some speakers, and if you private, you will need to have these skills, no? So which one from your experience do you think is more important? It's communication, teamwork, collaboration, project management, indeed. Indeed. Okay, so we can move to the first one, which is already here, is project management. So how comfortable are you right now managing projects, supporting the coordination, business team, etc.? If we move to the first one, Constance.
I moved it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Maybe it was frozen for me. Okay, you feel very confident, most of you. This is really good because this will be requested in most of the jobs. Next one is about innovation and problem solving. Basically, you can work on research, but you will need to also to face different challenges. So okay, this is very good, very confident. Okay, another one which is a bit more tricky is about risk management, no? For example, how confident are you preparing some management to prevent contamination, for example, in your work? Okay, you still feel confident, that's good. Okay, we move to financial management, which is also a tricky one. Usually, this is also requested if you work at the academia, research institution, or private, because you will need funds and you will need to learn how to prepare proposals for funds, no, for European funding, for example. Some of you do not feel comfortable, half. Okay, so this is something that you can also get some training. And next one is interdisciplinary collaboration. So this is very important because you will work with different stakeholders, with ecologists, engineers, legal experts, with different backgrounds. So it's important that you have this skill on collaborate with different and engage with different stakeholders. Okay. Next one is science communication. You already mentioned. So basically presenting complex scientific results into to the general public, that is clear and engaging. You feel very comfortable. Okay, very good. Next one is about entrepreneurship. This is a skill that is a bit more difficult to train. You will need to start with a startup or okay, but you feel comfortable. Well, this is half. Okay. Okay, this is also important because many marine biotech careers involve startups or spin-offs, no? Okay, and the last one is systems thinking. So this is very important because it's like marine biotech basically impacts have an influence on the climate ecosystem market. So it's how you see the big picture, no? And anticipating, for example, how climate change is going to affect on ocean salinity, and this is going to affect your farm, your algae farm, for example, no? So how good you are at anticipating these kind of problems. Okay, and that's good that you feel confident with this skill. So this is just basically an exercise for you to realize in which type of skills you can improve, in which type of skills you need a bit more training. So yeah, thank you so much. I think this is all from my side. So I leave it to you, Konstantinos.
Yeah, thank you so much for this very nice presentation and workshop that has been super helpful. And now it's time actually, after we found out what skills are needed and what skills you're actually maybe don't have that much expertise and you want to develop more, it's actually time to find how we can develop these skills. And a great way to do so is through some MOOC trainings and course trainings that we have developed here at Submariner or with CESPRO. And these trainings are specifically, I mean, most of them are like specifically for the skills that we've seen that there is a gap in your self-assessment. And I'm going to start already by sharing my screen so I can go to this presentation and show you the first training that we have developed, the first MOOC. Second. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to start actually about presenting an online course that we have developed with the project BBT, the Blue Biotechnology, which is a project that actually helps students and young graduates to enter the blue biotech sector by bridging the blue skills with tailored trainings. In order to achieve that, we have developed some specific actions, such as 6 webinars, 1 MOOC, and 3 hackathons. And then specifically talking about online courses, because it's the thing that we want to talk about, and also something that Sandra mentioned in her presentation before, how MOOCs and online courses can actually bridge this gap. With BPT, we have developed already 3 courses that are online right now, and 2 more are about to come. The first one is Introduction to Blue Bioeconomy. The second one is about Innovation, Blue Bioeconomy on Land. And the third one is about coastal aquaculture. And the one that's going to come hopefully by the end of this month, maybe like next week even, it's about marine product areas, multi-use and business pathways. And if you go through them, you're going to see that we really try to target specific blue skills gaps that we may have, all of us here, as we've seen before in the assessment. And I would invite you to go. All of them are free, they're accessible, they're interactive, they're through the Future Learning platform. And it would be great if you go through them and develop also the skills in order to be able to enter the market and then apply more easily to the job offers that they were advertised today. And also I would like to let you know that in these courses, you can get a certificate after the ending of your courses. So you can also display that in your CV and in the job market that you're going to apply for. So moving on to the second project that's going to present the courses is Cool Blue Future from Frederick. So you can also present your training.
Thanks, Kostas. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the invitation to present Cool Blue Future, which is a joint collaboration between 2 projects, one called Cool Blue Baltic and one called Cool Blue, respectively under Horizon and MFAF. And they're on the topic, thank you, yeah, next slide. So they're on the topic of regenerative aquaculture. So we already heard from Bernardo about an example, a really good example of regenerative aquaculture using clams. And we also want to emphasize with these projects that aquaculture is obviously much more than just fish. There's algae, there's well, micro and macroalgae, there's bivalves, there's crustaceans, all kinds of things. And especially the low trophic ones can have a potentially positive impact on the environment. So why did we develop this course? Well, there are pressures that we all know about. Many have been mentioned. Maximum yields in fisheries have been passed for the majority of species. Pollution and eutrophication are issues, especially in the Baltic. And things like sea level rise is going to be an increasing issue in the future. But this also presents opportunities like zero input aquaculture, which is just another term for low trophic aquaculture. It generally does no significant harm, which is this European kind of precautionary principle. It supports the nature restoration law, which was a landmark law passed, I think, last year. It gives the opportunity for economic diversification for fishermen, for example, who are facing declining catches. There's opportunity for coastal resilience to make our coastlines stronger and a buffer against extreme weather and storms. And it can also bridge the seafood supply gap that we're anticipating by 2050 from fisheries and aquaculture. Next slide, please. So the course, it contributed to the MOOC that Kostas presented previously. So one of the modules has a few lessons on the topic of regenerative ocean farming or regenerative aquaculture. And the content comes from these projects. So the Cool Blue project, there's a sister project called Seafarer. You can see the logo up at the top. And then the rest of the content is a synthesis of content developed in Denmark in particular by an organization called Havhøst or Ocean Harvest in Danish, and Greenwave in the US, which is really a pioneer in the whole topic of regenerative ocean farming and trying to make this information accessible to people who are not necessarily marine biologists, because to be honest, you don't need to be a marine biologist to get into aquaculture or the blue economy in general. You don't need to study for 5 years. You can get practical experience. Although it's very minimal at the moment, that's the kind of thing that we want to promote. I think George also said there's a significant lack of practical training, and that's the kind of thing we want to promote because that's the best way to learn at the end of the day. So doing stuff in front of a computer is great, but in the end, you need to get your hands in the water and learning by doing. Next slide, please. I think that's it, but the website is called coolbluefuture.org. I will put a link in the chat. There are just a small selection of videos there that you can browse through. It's really just to get your first taste of what is this concept of regenerative ocean farming and to develop your own ideas if you're thinking of starting a business, if you're looking for partners, business partners, or you just want to have a little hobby site where you're doing some cultivation near where you live on a very, very small scale. So it's really for everyone. So please check it out and thank you for your time.
Awesome, thank you so much. So now we're going to proceed with the second training that we have. It's from Marco. Marco's going to present it, and it's from the project Flores. So Marco, you can say a few words about the training you have developed.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Kostas. So today, briefly, I'm going to talk about one specific course, the online one, that is on the topic of ocean multi-use. So I'm going to briefly talk about it today. It was built under the Flores project, which means forward looking at the offshore wind. And thank you, Kostas. And this course already attracted more than 200 people still live. So I'm going to hopefully spark interest in some of you to pass it. Okay, so what's Beyond Offshore Wind Ocean Multi-Use course is about? It's an introductory study to the topic of ocean multi-use with a specific focus on multi-use combinations that also include offshore wind farms, as you can see on the picture at the left as an example. This course will go into some of the real-life examples that are happening in the Baltic and North Sea, alongside with some discussions on some different space-efficient methods for also harvesting energy on one side and also making sure that there are other uses available at the same time. It was developed by Submariner Network with a collaboration of the University of La Coruña under the FLORES project that I mentioned already. Kostas, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. And for some of you that do not know what ocean multi-use as a concept is, basically, ocean multi-use presents the intentional joint use of marine resources in a close geographical proximity by two or more maritime activities. It's a little bit robust definition, but I hope it's kind of clear. It's also what you see in the picture on the left. So basically, this approach seeks to reduce the demand for ocean space while offering a potential for socioeconomic and environmental benefits. It involves integrating different ocean uses, such as renewable energy generation, aquaculture, shipping, tourism, or marine conservation, to optimize the use of marine resources. So basically, we want to have places where not only one use is available, but that's so that we can combine multiple uses and also reduce the amount of ocean space we are consuming. Next slide, please. So what we achieved so far, we have I would say more than 200 participants, because this slide was made last week, and we're having coming people from 47 different countries so far. Hopefully, we're going to have some more countries as well to spread worldwide more. We have participants that were like engineers, PhD candidates, experienced professionals, but also young people who aspire to be part of the blue economy and offshore wind industry. And we're featured on the European MSP platform by European Commission. It's a really good thing. And we're going to launch soon the version 2 of the course. So for all the people who participate in the version 1, will be able to also join freely, of course, the version 1. And yeah, I'm not going to go to the left side of the presentation of this slide. You can just read to it. But thank you, Kostas. If you want to, of course, log and subscribe freely, here's the QR code or the link. I'm going to also paste it in the chat afterwards. So I hope I wasn't passing my time. So Costa, please continue.
Thank you, Marcus, so much. So now I'm going to have Olga from Crossco who's going to present the MOOC from Crossco, which is actually very interesting because one of the things that was actually mentioned in the self-assessment training was actually people didn't have a lot of confidence in regulation and framework. So I think this MOOC really defines that. So Olga, you can say a few words about Crossco MOOC. You're muted. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute. Yes, can you hear me? Okay, wonderful. I hope you can hear me. So yeah, my name is Olga Mashkin. I'm a senior expert at Action, and indeed what Kostas said, this is a MOOC that my colleagues actually, Julia Secchi and Colin Munch have designed as a part of the CrossGov project. This is a project we work together with several partners. And the idea is to design to provide knowledge tools and adaptable solutions to effectively implement EU marine policies to reach Green Deal goals. You can go to the next slide. Basically, in a nutshell, it's the MOOC which is really, really recent. It came out actually this summer. It's structured in 4 modules as a basic concept of a MOOC. Of course, it's free of charge, but if you'd like to track your progress, it needs to be registered. We designed it to know that some people may have already some background knowledge on marine policy, so you can pick and take or take the full course if you already have some previous knowledge. It is based on live webinars that were taking place during this spring, and we used the tutor LMS to ensure the duration long beyond the project reach. We also designed it with a pedagogical approach in mind, so each module has some evaluation exercises, quizzes, and we designed it while discussions with the experts of the project. So a lot of additional information were added as a result. This MOOC also has a online discussion forum where participants can interact with each other, and yeah, a lot of different assessment methods. As I said earlier, they can have quizzes and other evaluation forums. You can move to the next slide, because there I think I show what we actually want users to learn. So first objective is that they learn how to navigate in the complexity of European marine governance, so different pieces of legislation, what do they have inside, how they coherent, incoherent in implementation. Then we introduce the methodologies that we designed in the project to reach the policy coherence. And also another methodology which was proposed is for improving the effectiveness of science policy society interface. Also this, what the students will learn is to understand what are the challenges in the policy implementation, so how these policies actually coherent or not coherent, and how to get around it, and what solutions could be proposed, and which best practices can be done to do this, to achieve the European Green Deal. You can go to the next slide. And I think here I just show that this MOOC also has 4 modules. So first is overall landscape of existing regulatory frameworks and how coherent they are. The second one is the methodologies, so this cross-go framework and SPSI framework. And then the module 3 is actually quite interesting, because there we introduce the real-world challenge in solutions. So we're looking at 3 different legal frameworks, and then we look at the implementation across 3 cases in offshore energy, fisheries, and agriculture, so coherence and cross-compliance. And you get to see some examples from the speakers from different areas in Europe. And then the last one is about the way forward. And in each module, of course, the module has all these different things, like the additional information, count activities, what you can expect of a good MOOC. And you can move to the next one. I know there was a few more slides to say that we have tested it in the summer school in Marseille this year, and there were 25 students who tested, played, and gave us feedback. So at the moment, the MOOC is we're refining the last questions and seeing how to make it even more user-friendly and really used in reality. So we have had, I think, proposal to include it in European Water Academy, and we're also talking with the partners of the project to see if the MOOC could be used in the teaching at the European universities. For the it is aimed at not only the students, but also I think policymakers and the young professionals who would like to learn and get the hands-on experience with the frameworks and how to actually make our marine policies more coherent and cross-compliant. I think that's it. If you don't, I don't think you have any more slides for me.
No, that's all the slides.
And the only thing, I think the link to the MOOC is missing, so I would post it in the chat. And yeah, you go ahead and try it out. It's still in the this testing finalization phase, so still some things that you can bring in. We appreciate it.
So thank you so much. And the slides I'm going to send to the participants, I'm going to include also these 2 slides that were missing here. So it's going to be everything there. So the next one is actually a MOOC training actually from Next Blue Generation. So Clara, you can get ahead and just describe what the training is for.
Yes, thanks, Kostas. I'll be brief here. So as you mentioned, the Next Blue Generation is actually an education project that's directed at teachers and students, really. But if you just go to the next slide, I'll talk you through the different things we have. Because in addition to a MOOC, we've actually developed or are in the final stages of developing a toolkit, an entire toolkit for students and teachers. And overall, the aim of this project is really to empower, the next blue generation to explore blue career paths and, be fascinated by everything ocean science and ocean related. So what we have in addition to the MOOC, or sort of as a in and around the MOOC, we have a game. So it's a gamified tool of similar to what we've done in the workshop now, a self-assessment to understand, you know, your own soft skills and how these might be suitable to a blue career path. Now that's particularly aimed at school-age children. And the outcomes of that game actually then lead into the pathway tool, which provides different profiles of different potential jobs in the blue economy sector. And finally, the MOOC is really like the context behind it. So it's designed for teachers, but it really could be useful for anybody to get a better idea of the different sectors in the blue economy. And if you just go to the next slide. Yes, exactly. So it's teachers, career counselors, that's the main group here. But what we look at in this MOOC are the 6 sectors you see in the bottom in the circles. So that's nautical tourism, maritime transport, marine biotechnology, aquaculture, marine conservation, and ocean literacy. So there are a lot of different avenues to explore there. And that's really what this MOOC does well. You have interviews, you have videos and quizzes, all providing very practical information on these different pathways. This MOOC will be available very soon. We're in the final stages of getting it ready to go. And it'll be free and available on Marine Edu. If you go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is not very legible, but essentially this is the kind of information you can get per sector. This particular one is showing the aquaculture subsector, and then you'll have a whole list of different career paths. And when you click on those, you'll actually come up with an entire table which will tell you everything from the different soft skills that you might need to enter this profession to the education level, etc. So again, this is very useful for teachers who are trying to support students and navigate their way into these different sectors. But of course, anyone with an interest in blue economy can explore this and get a better understanding of how to enter into these different sectors. Next slide. Yeah, and it's coming soon. So in the final stages, and yeah, please check it out on the website or on the platform. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody who presented the trainings and the MOOCs. I think it's like a very nice flow from actually knowing what skill we're missing to actually how to gain the skills and how to apply later in the companies that they offer the jobs, and that way to bridge this kind of like gap between the market and the skills. And another important thing that actually, apart from the skills and trainings, actually events. And right now, I would like to invite Mariana to present an event that's going on soon, and she can say a few words why this is important to join there. So Mariana, you can say a few words.
Thank you, Konstantinos. So we're moving a bit away from MOOCs, but still on capacity building. And this is to invite you to a Baltic event we will have from the project Win Big, which is focused on women in the blue economy. It's going to be in Kiel in Germany, the 5th and 6th of November. It's for free. It's co-organized by Submariner and Kiel Marine Science. The QR code is there. And if you could go to the next slide, please. And just to explain, it's going to be a 2-day event. The first one, we will have a conference day where we will talk about women entering in the blue economy, the different entry points and what they're most interested in. We're going to talk about blue bioproducts and citizen engagement. And then the second part of day 1 and the first part of day 2 will be learning labs. So this is more hands-on. And these we want to focus on knowledge that is really useful for all sectors in the blue economy. So this is relevant for all of you. And this is to say that the conference day, it's open for both men and women, but the learning labs and then the women retreat, it's only for women. This is women focused. So we will have on intellectual property. We will have a learning lab on funding fundamentals, especially focused on innovation for all those entrepreneurs. We will have one on the negotiation game and, the role of women and how we can, negotiate in a table that is usually surrounded by men. And then learning lab 4 on communication and how our background influences the way we communicate. So we will work on that. And we will close the event with a retreat. So here we have a storytelling session and a more holistic approach through a technique called voice activation, that is with music and other things. And it's very nice to touch on different parts of, different ways of reflecting, I would say. And Celia could attest to that. But yeah, so the invitation is there, and we would love you to join. Thank you, Kostas.
Thank you so much for presenting that. That's a very important event. So thank you for being part of it. And now, actually, thank you all of you for coming to the end and joining us until now. It has been a very nice opportunity to hear all these very insightful presentations from everyone. Before closing, I would just like to say a few notes. We will send you the link of the video together with the slides of the companies and the presenters, whoever agreed actually to send the slides. We're going to also send you some links about the companies that have some positions open for you to apply in case you want to. In addition, we're going to create a discussion forum on blue biomass in order to create and continue this conversation about blue skills and how we can bridge them with different MOOCs or activities or trainings. And also before the end, I would like to officially invite you to our next and final for the year Submariner webinar, which is going to be about the business case of a blue bioeconomy. It's going to take place on 20th of November. You can already register, and the link is on the chat. I will just put it now. And of course, Blue Biomatch is the way that we communicate all these events, and we try to bring all these blue economy stakeholders and community together. So in case you haven't joined yet, this is your time to join. I think after all these events and nice communication we have created there. So yep, that's all. Thank you so much for being in this event, and have a great rest of the day.